Hello, everyone. We're going to start with our second session today, our second part of the FortiGate hardening guidelines for this quarter 3 in September of 2025. So, as we saw last week, these two guidelines that we're going to discuss in this two-part series are going to have some prerequisites. The most important one, again, is one more time doing that deep packet inspection at the browser level to be able to control some of these really good security controls that we're going to sponsor and do with you. But that's pretty much the only thing to remember for this one. Last week, we already reviewed in part one the Inline CASB. I'm going to skip all these slides and we're going to talk today about part two, which is data loss prevention. Now, what is data loss prevention? What this module is trying to do is when you have this firewall and this functionality on, is to try to prevent sensitive data from leaving in or entering your organization through this firewall. This does not, of course, as you can imagine, affect your remote users, which are not protected by the firewall. So this is just the people that are going to behind the firewall. Now, how it does that? It does that multiple ways. Today, we're going to do the simple version, which is going to be through different ways that are going to be data defines. These are the data that they actually created, FortiGate created, the people from Fortinet created in the firewall. Like, for example, how a social security number is built or a credit card number is built. Those are called predefined types. And then, of course, you can use your own custom types. And we're going to see examples of both cases and how you can take advantage of this technology. So let's start with the first example. The first example, let's say that you want to block how your organization is posting messages or using social security numbers. You can, as you can see, define different actions by the different type of protocols that you use. If this is an email message, or this is a file that you're trying to send, or it's a file that you're trying to upload that has the content, for example, in this case, a social security number on it, what the firewall can do is allow that, block that, monitor that, depending on what you want to do. So this is one of the places that I can give you kind of a recommendation, because every business is different. But this is an idea of an example that you can implement with some level of control for social security numbers. The second one is a better example, because this is about people who wants to use this to download really large files with that maybe executables, right? Like the .exe, like software installation files. So in this case, for example, I'm showing you a screenshot of how you will block all executable files to be able to download from the internet. And then also you're only allowing SSH transfers that sometimes for IT things you may need that for some reason. So in this case, as you can see, you have a lot of flexibility when you talk about files and then sizes and then type of files about what you want to block and what you want to allow. So this is another example about how to block downloads or really file executable big files. The last example is my favorite one for today. So let's say that you are running a very confidential project. Let's say that it's about the company acquisition that you're going through. You call this Project Orion, as you can see in one of my examples, and you want people to not use this word Orion and acquisition in your any of the generative AI platforms, ChatGPT, Gemini, whatever you want. So what you can do with the firewall is you can define your own custom keywords that then the system can trace through this platform. So in this example, I create two keywords, one with Orion and the other one with acquisition. And then I put two specific roles where this cannot be contained in a message and it cannot be contained in any file that people then can upload to, for example, Gemini. And these rules will prevent, some of this very critical content leaving the organization. And with that, we are done for today and for these two series. If you have any questions, just contact us. If you want to implement any of these new features, we have options for you. So come discuss if you want to take advantage of these things, which are included in your licenses, and we'll be more than happy to help you. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Bye-bye.